Hey, I'm Hannah, a mom and pediatric speech-language pathologist, providing you exercises, strategies, and tips to help make feeding your little one more enjoyable. Today, we are talking about Kay Toomey's Steps to Eating, a step-by-step process to do 3 things. 1. Gently introduce solid foods to babies. 2. Increase a child's food repertoire if they have a limited diet or they're picky eaters. 3. Decrease food anxiety in children who are hypersensitive to different textures or stimulations outside of mealtime, or who have experienced food trauma in the past. Let's get into it. Over 30 years ago, Dr. Kay Toomey developed the SOS approach to feeding, or the Sequential Oral Sensory Approach, which is a way to help introduce new foods and textures to kids with sensitivity issues or food trauma. While this approach is a great way to help many picky eaters increase their food repertoire, it's also a great way to introduce new foods to babies in their first year. Step 1 is tolerate. This is the very first stage in which your child is only expected to tolerate the food in the room, working up to being on their tray or their plate. If your child shows aversive or poor behaviors when you put the less preferred food on their plate, try moving it just out of reach but still in sight. If that still doesn't work, try moving the food farther and farther away until you reach the point where your child appears calmer. Step 2 is interacts. At this stage, your child is expected to interact with the food in various ways without actually touching the food with their body. At the very beginning of the stage, your child may help set the table for mealtime, or maybe they would use utensils to put the food on their plate, or even play with the food using small toys or objects to touch and interact with it. Step 3 is smells. At this step, your child will smell the odor of the food in the room, working up to actually leaning in or allowing the food to be close to their nose to smell it. Step 4 is touch. This is the very first step in the process where your child's body is actually going to come in contact with the food. At the beginning of the stage, the child is just expected to touch the food with the tip of their finger. Then they would move to more than one finger, then the entire hand, working up their body all the way up to touching the food to their lips, their teeth, and even their tongue. Throughout the entire process, work with your child at your child's pace. Allow them to explore to their own comfort level. The easiest way to do this without pushing too much is to model. Model touching and playing with the food and have fun with it. Children learn best through modeling, and when they see you playing and having fun with it, they will want to try too. Step 5 is taste. When your child is able to tolerate touching the food to their tongue for even a brief second, they will move to tasting the food without an expectation to swallow. At this stage, it's perfectly fine for your child to spit out the food. They may get taste by getting some of the food, such as pudding, yogurt, or even applesauce, on their lips, and your child will use their tongue to lick the food off of their lips. They could also do a full tongue lick on a spoon, almost like they're eating an ice cream cone. They would work up to chewing the food for a brief time, then spitting it out. Finally, step 6 is eating. This is the final step in the process where your child is expected to bite, chew, and finally swallow the food. At the beginning, maybe the child chews and swallows some of the food and spits the rest out, working up to independently chewing and swallowing all that is in their mouth. It's important to remember that for different foods, your child will be at different steps. Try working with only one food or type of texture at a time until they are at least 2 steps in the process. Also, your child may bounce around in the hierarchy a bit from day to day, but always remember that 2 steps forward and only 1 step back is still progress. Please check the description box below for the PDF version of Steps to Eat and for other great resources. If you want to learn more about feeding and feeding behaviors, be sure to subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos for more information. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.